Hey there, boys and girls. Welcome back to Richard's Toy Room for our third in the series of Bandai Star Wars 1/12 scale plastic model kits. This one is the Darth Vader. I took a peek at the pieces and they look pretty sweet. I think it's going to look awesome next to the R2-D2, R5-D4, and C-3PO kits that I've already done. Now, I currently do not have any more of these Star Wars kits to build, but I have them on my list, so they may show up for a birthday or Christmas or something along that line. Hee hee hee. Hint, hint, if anybody's watching. Anyhow, let's get started. So I've taken the opportunity to remove the parts trees from the bags so that I don't get any complaints about crinkly bag noise. And here is the instruction sheet. Very nice. Pretty much the same as all the other ones I've already showed you. I'm just going to quickly go through it. You do get the two different types of decals, water slide, and the stickers. I'm going to use the stickers. I prefer those on these kits. They seem to be a little bit more easier for me in that respect. You get, there was 3 bags of parts, including 6 sprues of parts. So starts over here, and like I said, I'm not going to run through every bit of the detail in the kit. I mean, we will do periodic progress reports as we get through certain sections, and we'll show you what we've done and if any issues up to that point. But basically, it's just a lot of little parts and a lot of detail. They also show you some things on here. Now, I'm not sure if these are all stickers or if there's things that they expect you to paint in. I'll have to find that out as I get into the kit more. But I'm assuming probably some of it will have to be just slightly touched up with some paint like I did on the other 2 kits. And that's about it for the instruction sheet. So let's take a quick look at the parts. This is a 2-color one. The lightsaber blade's about to fall off here. This is molded in shiny, so it almost looks like gloss. Well, it does look like gloss. And then not shiny black for pretty much most of the kit. So here you got like the helmet. It's all one piece. That looks pretty sweet. You got some armor pieces. As you can see, this is shiny, but this is more of a matte, duller finish. Here's his mask up here. The lightsaber's gonna fall off before I'm done here. Again, another tree full of matte black parts. These are, well, I mean, it's all Darth Vader, so it's all pretty much armor and bodysuit and cloak. Lots of tiny little parts. This is mostly his cape, cloak, whatever you want to call it, and the shoulder armor. And here's some more pieces of the cape. Some shoes, boots. Looks like a lightsaber. I don't know. Oh, I think they give you, although they look identical to me, there must be some difference in them. I think one is for if you're just going to put it on his belt, and the other one is if you're going to put the red blade on it. So that's probably the difference between the two, because one will go in his hand and one will go on his belt. There's the typical stand that seems to come with all these kits. The other part must have been on one of those other sheets I didn't notice right away, but it basically has a little inset for you to snap his boot into so he doesn't topple over. And then these flexible parts here are all the joints that are movable. Now, I think a lot of these are similar between kits, so you don't use all these parts most likely. Like I didn't use all of them in the C-3PO kit, but it's probably easier for them to just stamp out one sheet of all these joints than to make one separate for each kit. But anyway, that's those. And then the final thing in the kit are the two decal sheets. Let's see which one's which. This is the stickers and these are the water slide. They're pretty much identical. They don't look like it here because the sticker ones, since they're die cut, they make the outlined edges of them bigger, and then the die cuts inside that, so it ends up being the same as this, but the way the process for the way they make them, that's why they look different side to side, side by side. So anyway, that's it. So let's get started, and we'll have a progress report after we get to a certain point. Okay, so here we are at step 3. Step 1 consisted of putting the face, helmet, and head parts together. That's down here. And there were some stickers. I'm imagining that this helmet is removable. I'm not going to take it off because I don't want to. It showed some stickers that you put around, I guess, because you can't really see them up underneath the helmet, but I put them on anyway just because they were easy to put on. And so that was pretty much all was involved in step 1. Now, I did make one tiny mistake. You probably won't be able to see it. Maybe if you look real close when I do the 3D rotating reveal, but I cut a little too close with my snippers on the edge of the of his helmet, and just a little burr, whatever you want to call it, on there. So anyway, that was step 1. Step 2 consisted of basically this torso part with up down to the waist, and you put in like the parts for his joints to move and his neck here, when the head goes on, and attachment parts for like the cape. So that leads us to step 3. So step 3 is up here where we're just putting on this, I don't know what to call it, this collar piece, and then you pop his head on. So we might as well do that on camera. So you take this, it slides on. Okay, that's on. Just double check. Yeah, that's on all the way. Now you put his head on. Didn't feel it snap, so I wasn't sure it was on, but I guess it's on there. So tilts up and down, moves side to side. So I guess we're done with that. So now we'll put him off to the side and we'll continue with step 4. Step 4 is his pelvis and his belt, and then basically just attaching what we just did will be step 5. So I think we'll come back. We will come back after step 6. We'll put the legs on the body on camera. Oh, one thing I did forget. It has this part here. This is the chest piece that you can see on the instructions here with all the little lights and doodads on it. Well, they give you stickers for it, but I'm looking at the stickers and I can tell that it's going to look like crap if I do it like that. So I'm going to leave this off until last, and I'm going to hand paint in the details using the stickers as a guide before I do that, because I know it's going to look like garbage if I use those stickers. Okay, so here we are back for another update. We left off on step 3. I made a mistake. Sometimes I just get too far ahead of myself. but it's probably kind of hard to see anyway. But there was some decals that went on his, whatever you call this thing on his chest, this shoulder, or this armor piece here. Black pinstripes, because it's actually a little bit of almost like a grayish color, a charcoal color. And then he put the black decals on, stripes going up, those 4 stripes. So I had to pull his head and all that stuff back off so I could get those stripes on. Not a big deal. I mean, it just popped right off. So, like I said, we left off at step 3. So now where we actually are is at step 8. So what we did was, for step 4, we built his pelvis, put his belt on. Now, on these, I used some of the decals and I painted some of the details on. I don't know what these are. These look like little battery boxes or something. I didn't like the way the decals were made to fit on these raised buttons, so I painted some of them and I modified a couple of the other decals and used those. And his chest plate, I'm still working on it. I still have one or two more things to detail on it, and then I'll get that on. You'll see that by the time this is finished. And let's see, so that was step 4, and step 5 was just popping that onto the torso. So then step 6 and 7 were basically just building these 2 legs. Now we are at step 8 up here, and that's basically just popping these 2 legs on. So let's try that, see how we do with that. Should be easy in theory, but for some reason it's giving me a little bit of grief here. There we go. That's one. Two. Okay. See if he'll stand up. A little bit difficult on this paper and everything, but he should. Yeah, he stands up. Okay, so that's where we are now. The next up is we got to build his arms. So we'll build both the arms and we'll come back for, it looks like, step 11 after that. So stay tuned. All right, we're back for our update again. We have completed steps 9 and 10, which are, like I said, just basically building each of the arms. Consisted of multiple pieces. Now they do give you an option of having open or closed fisted hand. Well, usually actually closed is kind of like this because he's going to hold a lightsaber. It's not like a fist. So it would look kind of weird, I think, to have the other fist closed if you weren't going to have him holding a lightsaber with 2 hands, which is a possibility which I'm thinking I want to do, but I don't know how it's going to look. So I have decided to hold off on putting the other hand on yet, because I know he's going to hold at least the lightsaber at least in the right hand. And if I don't put him with a dual grip, I'm going to use the open hand for his left hand. So I'm going to hold off putting the other hand on for now. It's easily just popped on. So let's do step 11, which is basically just popping the arms on. If we can get them in here. There's one. And 2. So here we go. I think I got them in good. Okay, yeah. Almost like an action figure. It's got a lot of movement. So that's where we are now. So the next step, I have to flip the instructions over and see what's on up for step number 12. let's see what we're doing. Oh, where is it? Over here. Okay. So 12 now is going to be, it looks like, putting his cape together. And 12, 12, 12, 13 is the lightsaber, and that's it. And 14 is just putting him on the base. So we will put his cape together and then come back and show you that. And well, I guess I could put the lightsaber together too. We'll see you back after that. Alright, here we are in the final stretch. As you can see, Darth Vader is done. So I just wanted to go over how we got to this point and what is remaining. Now obviously, you can see here's the stand. He's not on the stand yet. That won't be till the very end. And we have 4 optional parts left over here. I'll show you those in a second. Here's all the parts that were basically left over after building everything in the kit. You got just 2 each of these rubbery joints, which were not necessary on this kit, and then the little clip that goes for the stand so you can lock them all together to make like a big base, which I don't know, I tried that on the R2-D2 kit and they didn't want to sit flat, so I decided not to do that. I just have them sitting flat. So that's it. That's all that's left out of the whole kit, and the decals. I mean, whatever decals weren't used. I'll show you what I did. I hand painted most of them. And let's see. Let's go over these. Here's the what do you call it? The non-blade lightsaber that would go either in his hand, not activated, or on his belt clip. So that's always an option you can use. Then they give you 2, and these are easily swapped out. I could do it right now if I wanted to. 2 open hands. So he doesn't have to have a lightsaber at all. You can just put these in. Or they give you the option of a left closed fist, which I wasn't aware of, without the hole for the lightsaber. So I'll probably end up using this one or this one. I'm going to swap it because I don't like the way he looks holding it with 2 hands. It looks goofy. So I think I'm going to do him with 1 hand, and then I'll have to decide if I want him to have an open hand or the closed hand as the other one. So you'll see that when we do the final rotation on the turntable. And so don't go away. That's coming up after this. So let me move him slightly out of the way here so I can just give you one quick rundown on what we ended up doing. So we left off at step 11, I believe. We put his arms on, which is up here. And then that takes you over to the flip side to finish up. Step 12 and all the way through. So basically what we did was we just put his cloak and whatever this want to call this thing, skirt, together, which is what was it, like 5 pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 pieces, and they're adjustable. So like you can detach part of where they kind of just lock into a little groove, so they don't move when you got them standing statically. And if you want to like move his arm, so the cape would move out a little bit, so it doesn't conflict with the shoulder area. So they're a little bit have some flexibility in them. And then as far as the lightsaber goes, I'll show you that. I did do the detailing on it. I painted the little red dot near the top of the blade there, and I painted the chrome and the chrome on the bottom. So, because there was no other option to do that. I mean, decals, that didn't come with decals or anything like that. And that's it, really. So let me show you the I mean, you'll probably see it on the turntable, but I'll show you what I did on these. I don't know what these things are called down here. They're one on each of his belt. I used decals, these I put them just slightly crooked, but big deal. This decal up here with the 2 green squares and then the red dot was one piece decal. I didn't like that, so what I did was I trimmed them down so they would fit, because these are all raised. What you see here is all raised up from the surface of this box on both of them. And the green ones, I cut them so they would fit on the little squares, and then I painted the red dot. And then this one on the bottom, I probably should have just painted that, but I used the decal on that too, that bar underneath the green squares. And of course, they gave you decals even for those 6 chrome dots, and I painted all those. It was a lot easier. I think it would look a lot better. And the same thing up here. I did not use any of the decals up here. They would have looked really crappy, and so I just painted everything in as it looked on the instruction sheet. So I mean, just like they show here. I think it looks pretty good. So he's done, and let me get him set up and figure out which hand I'm going to use here, and we'll put him on the turntable and do the final reveal. So I'll just say goodbye right now, and thank you again for watching. Hit the bell icon if you want to get notified when I post new things. And you can also go on Facebook. I have a page on there, Richard's Toy Room, and also Migos and More. I don't do a whole lot of updating on there, but I do post whenever I do a new video for sure. And I think that's about it. So stay tuned for the turntable review.